Hello, everybody, and welcome to a new session of Fusion 360. Today, we are going to hack or redesign or re-engineer one of the parts of this robot. As you can see, this is an Omni wheel drive robot. These Omni wheels are really helpful when you need your robot to move in different directions and kind of like hover over the platform. It's really interesting. Plus, this robot is one of the systems that we are going to build in our sessions. Okay, so basically what we want to start doing is like modifying the chassis. And for this, we're going to have to create a new component out of this one. Where can you find this? If you go to your class files in Fusion, you will find a folder called yaboom robot, and here you have the robot. Now, the first thing you got to do is create a copy of this. So we're going to save it in our files. You're going to go to Save As, and you're going to select a folder, your folder, and make sure that you save this file. Okay. Now you're going to go to your folder and start working. Make sure that you work on this. You can now close it, close the original file, and go to your folder that you just created and open the robot. Okay. Here we go. So we're going to look around a little bit and look at what we need in this robot is the chassis. So we're going to modify the chassis a little bit. We're going to get the DXFs and we're going to modify them a little so we can build it on our own, and we can build it from another material, maybe plastic, maybe we can create a 3D printed chassis and even modify a couple of things that might be useful for our new robot. Okay, so we go to the browser, our browser, and in our browser, we see that there's a multiple components Raspbot, a Raspberry bot, because we're going to use Raspberry. And inside, we have one that's called component. I already separated the bodies and created a component so we can save that to a new file. So you are going to right click on component and you can say save copy of. And here I'm going to say yaboom robot chassis. Okay, I'm going to save it. And now I can go to my folder and I'm going to see just the robot chassis. Here we go. Okay, now we're just going to work on this because I need to kind of like grab all the dimensions and project all the lines and edges and different things so we can build our own version of this robot. Okay, the robot will have a bunch of things that you can do. This is aluminum. It's kind of like a sheet metal, and we will unfold this in future sessions so we can do it in aluminum or other materials. So as you can see, we have 4 components that it looks like each of these components are like the motors, or at least the case of the motors, and we have one that's called bodies. Okay. So I would like to start like sketching on these different components, but if you want, we can just modify it so we can turn it around. In that case, we would have to convert these 2 bodies into components and then move everything around individually. Okay. So basically what we want is the chassis, and this is our body that we have over here. And from that, we're going to work on. Okay. So I'm going to hide everything else. I'm just going to hide all the other components. I'm just going to leave the chassis because this is the one that I really need for my design. Okay, so I need on the right side or the left side, I'm going to need all this projection. So I'm going to start creating a sketch, and this sketch is going to be on this face of the sheet metal. And I'm going to start drawing over here. Now, I'm not going to draw every single circle or square individually. I am going to project what this is. So I'm going to go to Create, click on Project, and in Project, I will project the whole face. Okay? So as you can see, I have a projection here that's going to allow me to work on this is where the motors are going to be. Okay, so I'm going to click on it. I'm going to click OK. And then I have these lines that are in purple, which cannot be modified at all. I will select them. I will select these lines, just like this. Then I'm going to right click and click break link. This is very important because now the lines are blue and now we can modify them. I'm going to just hide the body. Okay, I'm going to hide the body. And now I can start creating the different lines. Okay, so as you can see, we in our body we have like the turn of the sheet metal. This size can actually change, so we can modify this line just a little bit, just about 2 or 3 millimeters, so we have space. In our new chassis, this is going to be one side, and we're actually going to want to put like some holders so we can create the base, so we can create like a box for our robot. Okay, and we can create some L's and kind of like place them together, etc. Okay, so the first thing is that I'm going to check this dimension, and this dimension gives me 27 millimeters, and I'm going to modify it to 30 millimeters. And those 3 millimeters are very important because, and here I have 27, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to, since it didn't allow me to just modify this line, see, these are, if I move these lines, everything is going to move. I'm going to create a second line right over here. So I'm going to use something called the offset. And the offset allows me to create an offset of this line, okay, about 3 millimeters, right? And then I'm going to just delete everything else. So I'm going to create an offset, and here I have an offset of my robot, which is pretty handy. And I am going to kind of like just click, make a line that intersects these two, okay? And another line that is also intersected right here, okay? And then I am going to delete all the other ones that I don't need. And that's very simple. We're going to use the trim tool, and I'm going to start deleting all the other lines that I do not need, right? These are the lines that, so I have all that other part that I won't need. Okay. Select these. Just kind of like trimming everything. These lines also. Make sure that you take away all these lines at some point. Okay, I'm going to select these lines, kind of like I can select them and it will erase without a problem. So now I have, as you can see, erase this line, and I'm going to trim this one over here. Make sure that you either select the line or trim the line for your model. Okay, now if I check the dimension, now I have a 30 millimeters. And I have more space where I can put the little edges or gaps where we're going to connect our robot. Okay, after we have the projection of this line, we are going to need to extrude it. So I'm going to finish the sketch. And when I finish the sketch, I am going to extrude this line right over here. Okay. So let's click on the profile. We click on the profile. We press extrude, and we're going to extrude it 3 millimeters because that is the material that we are going to have. Okay. So we have 3 millimeters of this side of our chassis. Okay. Very good. Now, after we have this, let's make a copy, but we can create a copy later. Let's create the L's that are going to go and are going to be attached to the other side of our robot. So these L's can pretty much be connected on this side, kind of like a box, and this box can be we're going to need to design some holes for it. Okay, so let's go back to our sketch. If you can see, if we click on sketches, we have a sketch. This is our sketch, and we can double click on it, and we can modify it just a little bit. Okay, so we're gonna, in order to create an L, okay, we're gonna need to draw a rectangle over here where we're gonna have the connections with the different screws, and then we're gonna extrude it in two parts. Okay, so let's make a square that's gonna be 30 by 12 millimeters. I think it's enough, because remember that your robot has some, like, if you click on it, you're gonna have a component here. You don't want to make sure that you also have space for it. You see, so this L that you're gonna create on this side should be right below the motor, so it doesn't hit the motor. Okay, so for that, we're going to find out, let's find out what is the distance between these two lines, kind of like this line and this line, just to verify. It's about 13 millimeters, so 12, it's about right. Okay, there we go. So we're going to hide our body again, and we're going to work on our sketch. So going back, let's try to create our square, which is going to be 12 by 30. We have 12. Oh, sorry. Wow, sorry. Let me do it again. And this is 12 by 30. Very good. Okay, so here I have the square. This is going to be kind of like one of the corners, or sorry, one of the sides of the bracket that we are generating. And then we're going to, of course, we're going to create two holes here, and these two holes should be right in the middle. Don't worry much about how, like, the distance from the wall, because we will fix that in a moment. So here I am. I'm going to create another one. I'm not worried about the distance between them. I'm just going to worry about where they are. Okay. Now, with dimensions, I can actually define or determine what is the distance between the two of them. So I'm going to put 10 here, and then maybe another 10 in this distance, just so we have some nice two holes that are going to be connected. After we create this L, we will definitely have different L's, and we can replicate them all over. The second part is what the L is going to come out from, okay? Because we're going to have to connect it. So it is important to create another one, another square or another rectangle that is going to be 3 millimeters, which is the thickness of the material, by 30. Okay, you're going to see that this is very important when we start extruding our L's, or our brackets. Okay, so I think we're pretty much done, and we can start extruding that. I am going to just leave this, and I'm going to turn on the sketch so we can see what we want to extrude. In this case, I want to extrude this portion, this profile, and this profile. Okay, I'm going to click on the E, and I'm going to extrude it 3 millimeters. Okay, so this is 3 millimeters. Then I need to create the bracket, which is this portion, okay? And this portion is going to be about, remember, so we have our bracket was 12 millimeters, 12 millimeters, and it has to be 12 millimeters, right? So I need to make sure that I am using the same amount. So 12, right? And I am going to click on join. This is important. Okay, because this is going to allow me to see the different, or see the complete L. Okay, there we go. I click on join, and then I have a really nice L, but we are missing something. We are missing the distance of this of these holes on this one. Okay, so in that case, we are just going to make them. Let's just click where it says these holes. Okay, so we need to create a sketch right on this surface. We're going to create a sketch right here. Let's create a sketch, and then I'm going to turn it around so I can see it better, and I'm going to create two holes. Now remember that we had 10 centimeters from the distance, and of course we need to verify what it was the distance from this one. So I'm going to go back to my sketch, to my first sketch. Let me finish the sketch and go to my first sketch, and I want to verify these holes. Like, what is the distance from here to here? Okay, in that case, I'm going to select the distance from here to here. It says it is 6. I'm going to add 2 more millimeters, so it's going to be 8. And also from here to here, it's going to be 8. That way I have more space between the wall. Select finish sketch, and look, even the holes were updated. The holes from my design were updated. Oh, okay, so let's go back to our second sketch, the one that we just created, and let's make the holes. Let's design right here two holes. Remember, it's 3 millimeters. The radius is 3 millimeters, and I'm going to do this one over here. 3 millimeters. 3 millimeters, correct? And I'm going to find the distance between these two. Okay, and we said that it was going to be 10, and also 10 for this side. That way I can have holes, and I can start making a really nice and interesting hole. Now, I finished the sketch, and this part is where I create the holes. Now, you remember that we can select different profiles and extrude these profiles so we can actually create a hole. So I'm going to just extrude it up. Where it says cut, I will cut the holes. Okay? And that is pretty much it for the L's that we have. Okay, here we go. Now let's see how our body looks like. Sorry, our different parts. So we have an L, right? We have an L connected to our component, and here I'm going to move it a little. I'm just going to click on the M, and I'm going to just move it so I can see where it's located. Okay, so I have an L that is going to connect the two components. Okay, so let's say I want an L that is located in this part, and I want it right here. Okay, in that case, I'm going to need to create a plane that is going to be a mid plane in the middle of this. So in order to mirror an object in Fusion 360, we need a plane to mirror it. So first, we're going to construct a plane. Let's construct a plane from two, a mid plane, okay? And it says this mid plane is the mid plane of this face and this face. Okay? What I'm saying is, like, you're going to build a plane in the middle of these two faces. So here, as you can see in orange, I have a mid plane. This is really helpful because when we mirror stuff, we're going to want to have a plane. I'm going to select bodies. So I can select this body, which is I'm going to mirror. And I'm going to create a mirror. Okay, I'm going to click on mirror. The mirror plane. The object selected is the bracket, and the mirror plane is going to be the mirror I just constructed. And here I'll see exactly what I can do with this mirror. Okay, So now I have the side of this chassis, and then I have the two L's. Okay, very good. Now let's think about our sidebars. And in our sidebars, we want to create a robot that is more or less 20 or maybe 15. The side is going to be 15 centimeters, so 150 millimeters. Okay. Remember that in order to like hide all the planes, we can go to the origin and kind of like we can hide or put the origin. And they're also different. Let me see if I can see the constructed bodies that we can hide. Okay, well, we'll look for it in a minute. So let's create the sidebars or the side of the chassis. And for this, I need to create another sketch. And I'm going to create it on this face. There we go. Okay, we're going to probably zoom in a little, zoom out, kind of like play with it. And here I'm going to create a rectangle. This rectangle will be, remember, 30, of course, because that's the width. And it's going to be 15 centimeters or 150 millimeters. Okay, so here I have the sidebar that is going to be on this side. Okay, now this sidebar definitely needs the projection or needs these holes, okay, connected to our robot. Okay, so how do we project these holes? Remember that there's a projection tool, and here I can project these two holes, which are very interesting. Just select the two holes that I have, right? Click OK. And remember, they are in purple, and you want to select them so you can turn them into, oh wait, here we go. Let me see. I'm going to select one, select the other. With the shift key, right click, and click on break link. Remember that they should be in blue. Okay, so we can move them and play around with them. Okay, now we're going to create also a construction line. And the construction line is on the, like we're going to create a line and just click on construction. That way we find the mid point of this sketch, because we're going to mirror these two holes on the other side. We're going to click on mirror, and where it says objects or select objects, we're going to select the two holes that we have, and the mirror line is going to be the construction line that we just created. Okay, make sure that we actually select the two circles. Okay, that way we make sure that there are two circles there. Okay, click on OK, and we have a sketch that is going to allow us to kind of like put our next box. Okay, click on finish sketch, and let's see if we can create an extrusion of this. Of course, 3 millimeters again, and this one is connected. You have to be careful because when you extrude it, make sure that you don't have the join activated. You want a new body. You want bodies that are separate. Okay, so here you have these two that are connected to each other. Okay, there you go. So we have this connection, and if it's the case, we will find, or we can create 3D brackets to kind of like reinforce the edges of our robot. Okay, now what if we want all this on this side? So remember I told you that you can create a midpoint, okay? And the midpoint is pretty much understanding the two faces that you want to do. So let's construct another plane. Let's create a mid plane. And the mid plane, right now, we're going to select the two faces. Okay. There we go. And we have a construction plane where we're gonna like mirror these all the uh, sidebars from this chassis. Okay, so I'm gonna select this body. I'm also going to select the two brackets. Okay, and after I select these two brackets, I am going to mirror this. Now, the mirror plane that I have is this one. Okay, and now I have almost finished my the sides of the robot that I'm getting. And now I can connect them and see what it looks like. And I can even like do it in laser cutter and use different materials to see what I get. Okay, remember that we're using 3 millimeters of thickness for our robot. Okay, the only thing I'm missing is that I am not going to design a completely closed chassis because I need an entrance, because that's where I want to get the little cubes that are going to be placed for the stacking robot. So I'm going to leave a gap, but this gap will need to take into account different parts. If you want, you can try to build the gap that is going to come over here and create a structure that holds this gap over here. This can be a pretty nice and interesting creative activity that you can do. Okay, guys, we will continue with our robot next class, and hopefully we can start building it right away. Oh, something I forgot. Remember that our chassis has, if you look at it, like if you look at this, it has a cap, okay, or like kind of like a like a protection board for our motors. You also have to think about that when you are developing this, and you want to have protection for this on this side. Okay, very good. Okay, guys.